What's poppin', fellas? It's your boy Flux, bringing you all an offensive Viper smoke guide to the map Haven. Before we get into it, one thing to keep in mind is that out of all 4 of the maps in the game currently, Viper has the lowest win percentage on Haven, so make sure you pay really close attention to this video so you can elevate your gameplay and actually bring up that Viper win rate, because we're kind of slacking on this map, I won't lie. Also, one thing to note is that there's no shame in dodging and there's no shame in picking a different operator if you're not totally comfortable playing Viper on Haven. But I'm hoping that this video can give you guys some tips and tricks on how to actually execute properly, and yeah, we can all collectively increase that Haven win rate. So with all that out of the way, let's just get into the vid. For the standard A-site chop, what you fellas want to do is come over to the buy barrier up on the second platform. You want to look straight down and put your crosshair where the bricks meet the dirt. Look up at the roof, you'll see these 2 nubs on it right here. You want to put your crosshair along the roof between the 2 nubs, like so, and you can feel free to fire away once the barrier goes down. This chops the A site in half perfectly, and it also makes it so that you only need to worry about one angle, bar heaven. So when the smoke comes up, there's one angle that the dude can be right here. And again, hell is also walled off. If the dude is playing in hell, again, he can't see shit. The players over here will be looking at short, however, so just keep that in mind. Short players do have a single angle, or a single extra angle they need to check. So if you're coming up short, make sure this is clear. Activate the toxin afterwards, so that there's no one there, and afterwards you can check this angle, and then just slowly slice the pie, and boom, you're clear. One thing to note, however, is that heaven is left open, so you're going to want to throw a toxic orb alongside this wall, or if you have a good aim, just knock the kid out in heaven. In order to smoke off a heaven, what you want to do is go over here to that wheelbarrow in the corner, right here. So this guy, you want to make sure that long is already secured by you and your teammates so you don't get shot in the dick while throwing this. Look up at this roof thing right here, right on the corner, and then you want to jump and throw. So make sure you jump and you time the smoke to leave your hand at the peak of your jump. Should land right in heaven like that. It's a relatively easy smoke, and with that, heaven is smoked out, site is chopped in half, so you can just check the one angle, get a pretty cheeky plant off. And if you're coming up short, heaven is no longer an issue, so you can just slice the pie. And yeah, if the dude's playing in hell, he's kind of useless as well, so you should get relatively easy sight control like this. Just keep in mind, you want to have players going up short and long at the same time. If you already have a controller on your team, like Brimstone or Omen, and you want to save your wall for a post-plant situation instead, you can actually come down long after you've secured it and walk into this edge right here. Turn around 180 degrees. Once you're in the edge, and you can fire at any point along this opposite edge. This will throw a wall which chops off short, CT, and partially sight, which is slightly irrelevant, like so. And it's super strong in the post plant once you've already gotten the bomb down, because counter terrorists coming through CT side, they just need to straight up YOLO jump through here. There's like 4 angles they need to check. And if you are getting flanked through short, same thing. Dude needs to YOLO jump through here. Again, there's like 15 angles he needs to check. So after you get the bomb down, you're in a clutch situation, this wall is super useful. But make sure that if you're going to throw this, you have a controller like a Brimstone or an Omen to divide up the site when you're taking. One thing to note is that you don't actually want to activate this wall until you're on site and site is fully cleared. The reason behind this is, if you activate it, it offers little to no protection for you guys when you're offensively taking the site. And because of this pocket right here, a dude can actually just jerk off in here, wait till bomb goes down, and he can just shoot you in the head for free, unpunished. So make sure the site is fully taken, make sure the site is cleared before you activate that smoke, and you set up the post plant. So again, if you do this with the toxic orb and the wall itself, you can actually just get a nice little hold going right here. So the bomb's down, you can't come through CT, they can't come through heaven, they can't really flank you except from long, and with that, you have a relatively secure site for roughly 10 seconds. On pistol rounds and low economy rounds where you can't afford a toxic orb, or you just have a high volume of players needing to hit a site quickly, what you can actually do is dogpile you and your homies down into short, given that it's safe and that you haven't been seen. And you can line up a wall from short onto a site by lining up your toxic wall with the rectangle on site by looking at the mini map. So right here, I'm going to show you, see the blue line intersects the gray rectangle perfectly, like that. Same angle. I'll just quickly show you guys what you mean. You want your smoke wall to go through this box set right here. So this box right here, you see my toxic orb cuts it, or sorry, my toxic wall cuts it in half perfectly. Again, this is super useful for an eco rush because it lets you get onto site quickly. There's only one close angle that you need to check, and heaven is covered given that you don't peek too wide. So again, come up here, pre-fire this shit. Alright, cool, site's clear. You get a free bomb plant. Very strong on low economy rounds when you can't afford the toxic orb, or if you just want a quick bomb plant. So pistol rounds, eco rounds, or if you just want to rush short and catch the enemy off guard. The smoke pops quick, it goes up quick, and again, super effective. One thing to note is that the player in heaven can look down long, so you don't want anyone to come down long, but again, short is clear. If you're playing on the site itself, so on the ground, fully chopped, if he jumps through the wall at any point, he needs to check like 8 angles at once, so it's not viable for him to do that. So again, don't come up long, dogpile you and your homies into short, and with that, you can likely throw that wall up, they can't see shit, and you only have to check 1 angle before getting the bomb down. Moving on to the other side of the map, we got the standard C site chop. Similar to the A site chop, it cuts the site in half, reduces the amount of angles you need to check. So get into this corner down on C long, and you'll see this box. There's an inner darker edge on it right here. You want to put your crosshair on the corner of the inner darker edge like so, and you can fire your toxic wall straight through the solid box in the wall, and this should chop the site in half perfectly. This chop is extremely effective because it cuts off the common opping angle and it stops this baiting angle simply because the wall is too close, meaning that the dude's hand and gun will stick around the corner if he's trying to hold the close angle. This cheeky wall also lets you plant in random ass spots like back here, meaning that if you are getting pre-fired at the conventional plant spots, you can just go to the back end of the site and you should be relatively safe while planting the bomb. Players on the site can't necessarily do much or see much simply because if they do push onto the other side of the wall, there's a shit ton of angles they need to check and they're at a severe disadvantage. So again, when you are pushing up, just pre-fire this angle, make sure no one's in the cubby, pre-fire that angle, and at that point, you more or less have a relatively safe plant given that you manage your toxin effectively. If you're afraid of dudes randomly swing peeking you through the wall, and if they have a tendency to do that you pick up on over the course of many rounds, what you can actually do is throw a toxic orb, which actually walls off that entire angle, which stops the dudes from peeking, and it lets you plant from greater safety. You want to look up at this roof. There's 2 notches on the roof right here. You want to go to the middle of the notches, like so, and you want to bring your crosshair up so that it's at the same height as the rock over to the right. So between the 2 notches at the height of the rock, simply just click, let the smoke go, and it should land right in that nook. So if there's an opper holding an unconventional angle, if there's dudes maybe peeking through your walls, you can actually just get rid of them like this, give yourself a relatively safer plant, and again, just chops off a couple extra angles with no extra cost, and it lets you plant safely. So again, very useful when used in tandem with the site chop, because again, there's 1 angle you need to check, and that's the platform, and again, you can either plant here, or you can actually plant on the other side of the toxic wall just to create a bit of extra confusion for the enemy team. Similarly to A site, if you are playing with other controllers on your team such as Omen or Brimstone and you want to set up a post plant wall instead, you can do that on the C site. Basically, look at this wall beside the crates and the window. So crates to my left right there, window to my right. Make sure the spawn barrier is down and you can aim roughly in the center of them using the minimap to line it up. You want your smoke wall to go straight through the CT boxes. So again, look at the minimap, line it up, shoot between the crates and the window, and this should actually wall off garage like so, walls off the CT boxes, and if there's a dude playing here, his gun's going to stick through the smoke unless he's looking sideways, so perfectly fine smoke, easy kill, and players pushing through CT have 14 different angles that they peek into, so they can't actually walk through that either. Unlike the A-site smoke, you can actually activate this early alongside your push because there are no nooks or crannies the enemy can hide in. So while the brimstone smokes go down, you can also throw your toxic wall up to add extra chaos onto the site and assist in the site take itself. So again, very good post-plant spot, but also very good when you're actually executing onto the site itself. If you already have players pushing up C long and you want to do a 2-pronged hit through garage, there's actually a nice little wall you can throw through garage that not many players know of. Given that mid is clear, obviously, you can come up to this corner right here, and using your mini-map, this is all free-handed. You want your line to intersect into the left portion of the window, so you want it to hit the left portion of the window. I don't know how to describe it, so this is what it looks like. The line goes up and literally hits the left portion of the window, so like so. This will take a little bit of practice, but again, once you do that, perfect wall in a garage, and there's only 1 spot you need to check. Dude can't really see unless he jumps through the window and just mega peeks you, or he's standing up here, in which case he gets headshotted, because again, simple shot, he can't see much, you see more than he sees. The garage player is a sitting duck simply because he can't jump up, and if he does jump out, it will play a sound cue, so if you're afraid that he's actually going to be up here, and for whatever reason you think he's going to jump down here, you can actually just pre-fire that with a snake bite as well when the wall goes up initially. So again, ping it through the wall, or just throw the wall up, chuck a snake bite into there. If he does jump down, he commits suicide essentially, because again, he can't actually jump past that without getting vulnerable. and then you're free to actually push up or kill the guy, whichever one, and C gets hit from 2 different angles at once. The smoke also has major crackhead energy because it also goes into CT, and we actually learned earlier that if this is smoked with a nice post-plant wall, enemy players rotating through CT have to push through it, and if they do, they're peeking into 19 different angles. So again, it helps you take garage, and it also doubles up as a post-plant wall, and not many players know about this, so make sure you use this in your games. So last but not least, we got B-site. B-site fucking sucks for Viper, can't do anything on it whatsoever except maybe set up a post-plant wall, so come over here, shoot your thing through this mural, whatever the hell it's called. It can be standing anywhere, it will land. Again, you can use the mini-map to line this one up as well. So if you know there's a player rotating through A, chops him off. Same thing can be done on the complete opposite side, on the left side as well. So let me quickly reset the game for you guys, show you. This is, again, slightly free-handed, but you can just kind of walk up here, freehand it right there along the corner. And exact same wall, but on the left side this time. So if you know there's more players playing CT for whatever reason, boom. Nice little post plant. They can't jump through it because, again, lots of angles they need to check. Viper can't really do much on B, so this is probably the best you can do. There's a toxic orb throw you can do, which helps you gain control of mid if there's an opper on B for whatever reason. So what you can actually do is run up here to the right. There's going to be a pot in this corner. You can actually walk through this thing, so act like it's not there. There's these rungs on the temple, so on the temple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Aim at the middle rung, just put your crosshair right on the tip of that, and you can feel free to launch that shit. Should land right in the doorway of B site, so again, if there's any operas, they get chopped, and then it lets you take mid control a lot easier with your team, simply because you can walk out the window without getting shot in the skull. And again, set up outside the wall, maybe flash through it, or sorry, outside the site, flash through the smoke, or when the smoke goes down, you can look for a cheeky pick. Walk through it, I don't fucking know. It's not horribly useless, but again, Viper's choices are limited when hitting the B site. Bonus tip, when you activate the orb, you can actually ult through it because you know there's not going to be any enemies standing within your orb, so you can get a nice cheeky ult off, which is actually extremely powerful if aimed at the back portion of the generator thing, because again, it engulfs the entire site, so it lets you make cheeky flank plays, and again, enemies inside your ult take decay, and you have aim duel advantage within it, so you can just walk into your orb, place your crosshair on the back generator, and ult. So super useful, pick that orb up, and again, you're on the site and ready to take some aim duels. And yeah, that more or less concludes the vid, fellas. So if you did enjoy it, drop a like and leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. And if you have any other lineups you want to share with the community, just leave them in the comments so other people can revisit them. If you have suggestions for future Valorant uploads, let me know. And with that, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and on Twitch. Both of the links are in the description. Drop a like, subscribe, all that good shit. And with that, my name is Flux. Thank you all for watching.